Okay, so now I'm back at you with a nice piece of vinyl. You know what I mean? And it's been a hot minute since I did a vinyl review, and this is one that I've actually been wanting for quite some time. It's the Bandai Movie Monster series, Godzilla 1991, from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, the Gedo Goji suit. And obviously, this is the Hokkaido landing version of it. So I want to give a couple shout outs. First is the E&J Boutique in Brooklyn on Fort Hamilton Parkway. That's where I got this guy. It's a really nice store for collectibles. They got a lot of cool things in there, from baseball cards to comic books to figures to everything else. So, shout out to you guys. Thanks for the Godzilla. And please go check out E&J Boutique in Brooklyn. Cool place. So, and then my other shout out is going to go out to my boy, ZillaFan85, because I know you like this guy, brother. That's one of the things that I share in common with ZillaFan85, and kind of almost had a relationship started in a way, though, with the 91 Gedo Goji, because we did have conversations and reviewed figures of the 91, and we both consider this amongst our favorite Godzilla designs. Certainly my favorite Heisei Godzilla design. This is it. The 91 Gedo Goji Hokkaido version right here. So, of course, ZillaFan85, I brushed up by watching your review, man. Do yourself a favor. If you like watching figure reviews, subscribe to ZillaFan85, because he's one of the most honest, thorough reviewers out there. And, this one's for you, buddy. So, we got a really nice card. Now, I heard ZillaFan85 talking about how this is the Bio Goji right here, the 89 on the card. It's a scene from the 89 movie. And he was wondering why that is. I think I may have an answer to that, because it's the same suit. They just did modifications on it. They had two suits for the 89 that they turned into two suits for the 91. One of them being the Hokkaido, one of them being the Shinjuku. So, maybe that's why they have it on there, or maybe it was just an honest mistake. I'm not sure of that, but it is, the Hokkaido suit is spawned from this. So it's close to the same Godzilla. You got the dorsal plates on the back. It's already sleeved and carded. So we are not going to open it up right there. But hell yeah, man. This is so cool. It's got some nice detail. I love the curvature, if you could see that, of the tail. It's kind of curved up and back down, and also to the right a little bit, which looks really nice. The detail on the tail. By the way, it's painted to the tip of the tail. Shout out to Shinra Jiro, yeah. Which makes us always happy when they do that, But a highly detailed tail with paint on it that goes straight up to the top dorsal plate. That's nice. These dorsal plates are simple but look great. They're painted great. I love the white. I love the white with the charcoal gray in the middle. It really pops. The dorsal plates look very nice. As ZillaFan 85 pointed out, there really shouldn't be whites in the eyes. So I guess if there's one thing you would gripe about that, it's that. But a fantastic facial sculpt, though. Nonetheless, I think it's very screen accurate. I love the pointy head, because that's one thing that stood out as far as the Hokkaido version of the suit. You have that thick curved neck, the pointy head, the big barrel chest. You know what I mean? And this is basically the famous stance. Like, this is the stance he was in when they compared the picture of the dinosaur to Godzilla when Godzilla first came out in Hokkaido. He was in this pose. That's the way it looked. And I really like, from the front and from the side, the detail of this face. I think it's a very nice facial sculpt with good detail on the forehead. I think the teeth and the inside of the mouth are very well done. I love how the face is done. I think the eyes look good. You know what I mean? Even though they're the wrong color, they're still on point. They're painted well. So, you know, we got that. And then I love the detail on the neck, on the chest, on the arms, the different patterns on the side of the neck here. And then, of course, the legs, the rolls of the legs. We got some decent paint on the fingernails and toenails. Nothing too crazy. I like it, actually. It's like a pale yellow rather than a bone color. It looks like bone, you know, but it's like a pale yellow, which looks rather nice, I think, and makes the fingernails and toenails really pop out. So far, so good. I mean, you know, we have a beautiful tail that's well detailed, very nicely painted dorsal plates, a good sculpt of the head and the body. You know, the chest looks just about right, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get the chest wrong on the 89 or the 91. It's either too big or too skinny. I think this is just right. You know what I mean? A nice muscular chest for the Gedo Goji. And you know, the profile of this thing is just great. Look at that. I think the face looks phenomenal, actually. You know what I mean? It's pretty much spot on as far as the facial sculpt. And we got a cool card, too, you know, if inaccurate, but it's still a nice picture anyhow. So, but, yeah. Gedo Goji. All right, let's pose him. Okay, we're going to get a nice action pose here, which really looks great. The arms are going to swivel out. They don't go up and down, which is pretty much signature for, like, Heisei Vinyl Godzilla. The arms kind of swing out as opposed to up and down. But you could still create a nice action pose like this. The legs are a little bit on the stiff side. You're not going to get, you know, too much movement back. You know, I guess you could probably go all the way around with the legs, but we don't want to do that and scrape it up. You know what I mean? But that's about as far back as it's going to go. But you could get a nice, like, walking and in action battle pose, I guess. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, if you could see here, you know, the neck is just one piece. So we get no articulation in the head, and the tail is glue sealed. So you're just getting arms and legs here. You know what I mean? And that's fine. We don't really buy vinyl for articulation. We buy vinyl for the charm of it, the classic feel of it. And, you know, when talking about Bandai vinyl, the accuracy of it, because that looks great, paint job, whatnot, you know. But you could get them into a couple of poses, but it's not going to be very many here. So, you know, we'll just go through whatever we could get out of it. Okay, so I was striving to get one tail off the ground pose to see if we could, and I got this. And I think that's really, really nice. You know what I mean? So, okay. So far, so good. In action pose, very nice tail off the ground pose. I might add. That looks good. You know, I almost didn't have the balance to do it, but I figured it out. And that looks very, very nice. Awesome, man. Okay, so believe it or not, we got a fairly decent foot stomping pose with the help of the card, like, balancing it. You know, like the tail is at play, that back leg, and the card, which is allowing it to balance for what's surprisingly a really nice foot stomping pose. Super, super cool. Try to get him in a walking or basically running pose. You know what I mean? Even though this Godzilla was a plotter, not really a runner, he was a tough, rough, heavy Godzilla, you know what I mean? He walked up on you. He didn't run at. He wasn't very athletic, you know what I mean, as far as scenes in the movie. But really, really cool, though. I just want to give you a shot here to show you how wide the arms go, you know. They just turn out. They turn in and out. And, of course, this is as far in as they go. So you can see that. Yeah, look, I really like the way that looks also. Awesome from this side. With the other leg back. Super, super nice, man. I'm telling you right now, you know, and I'm sure Zilla Fan 85 will agree, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah is one of the best Godzilla movies. It's probably one of the ones where I've watched it, you know, the most. You know what I mean? I've watched it more than a lot of the other movies. I always throw that on. It's just a very, very entertaining movie. Badass Godzilla. You got King Ghidorah. You got space aliens, you got humor, you got the backstory with the dinosaur, you got time traveling. It's a wild ride, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, man, you know? And I love the whole vibe of it, you know, with the reporter going to meet with the old man at the sushi spot to tell him about the dinosaur, about his, you know, battalion and how they ran into the dinosaur. Super, super cool, man, you know? Yeah, I don't think anybody would be disappointed with Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. It's one of the better movies in the series. Definitely top 10, you know what I mean? And probably, I would have to say, in consideration for the top 5, for sure, you know? Anywhere between, you know, anywhere from like maybe 3 to 10, it's in consideration for, you know? And it's still, I think many people agree, probably the majority of people agree that this is the best Heisei Godzilla, right? Cheer, partner. Yeah, you know, and why wouldn't it be? It's a menacing, rough, tough, physical, muscular, barrel-chested Godzilla. You know what I mean? Like, it's scary seeing this thing come at you. When it comes out in Hokkaido, you're like, wow, you know, like that Hokkaido landing is just impressive. And it's a scene you never forget, you know. So, but this is fantastic. Let's do some comparisons. Okay, so for comparison, I'm gonna bust out the other two 91s that I own. These are the only 3 91s I have, and I hope to get more because I love the 91 design. But you know, this is the Bandai. I think it's like 8 or 9 inch closed mouth 91, and what a figure. This is one of Bandai's finest hours, as far as vinyl is concerned. Look at those absolutely gorgeous dorsal plates, those silver and black dorsal plates, and how they pop, and it just goes all the way down to the tip of the tail there. Wow, fantastic. And he's in that famous pose right there. That's the Hokkaido pose, man. You know what I mean? A very like the neck, the chest, a very well done figure. Beautiful paint on the fingernails and toenails, the silver paint. Really nice. These are the way the eyes are supposed to be, by the way. Okay? Just to take it back to what Zillafan 85 was saying. You see, these eyes here are like orangish or yellowish. That's how they're supposed to be. There's no white in the pupils. You know what I mean? And then this here is the SH Monster Arts Shinjuku version, and the same thing. The eyes are kind of orangish or yellowish. They're not white. The pupils are not white, you know? So you're right, Zillafan 85. You know what I mean? A minor thing, though. We could live with that. You know what I mean? Especially since they're painted well. You know what I mean? It's not too big of a damn deal. But the teeth are so nice, though. But here we go, man. These are the 3 that I got. And this, now, so this is the Shinjuku version, right? And, you know, we could, even though it's 2 different figures, one's articulated, one's a piece of vinyl, And this one's a bigger piece of stylized vinyl, obviously. But you can see the differences between the Shinjuku and the Hokkaido. The Shinjuku is a little on the slimmer side. The chest is a little slimmer. It still has a barrel chest, but not as big as the Hokkaido. And the neck is a little more curved. And the head is pointier on the Hokkaido than it is on the Shinjuku. But this is a super nice figure, the SH Monster Arts Shinjuku Decisive Battle version. I have to get Mecha King Ghidorah to go with that, because this is a really cool figure. You know, it's just great detail, beautifully painted. And this is like, you know, if you collect vinyl, you really need to have this one in your collection. It's such a nice, breathtaking piece of vinyl that just sparkles and pops and jumps right at you, you know. And this is very nice, you know. I really, there's nothing really bad that I could say. Okay, yeah, the eyes are a different color, but that's about it, you know. I wish we had a little more articulation in it with the head and the tail, but I'm posing him on my shelf, so I'm not going to put him in one little pose, and that's how he's going to stay. And I just like the way he looks so much that I can forgive those flaws. I think the figure overcomes its flaws. I always talk about that, you know, because every figure has flaws. I think this figure overcomes its flaws in paint job, facial sculpt, dorsal plates, tail looks really nice the way it's shaped, even though it's, you know, that's probably why it's glue sealed, because of the shape of it. You know what I mean? The curvature of it. You really don't want to, like, you're not going to move it when it's already curved into a nice position, you know. Which, by the way, so is this one. It's a very unique upswept tail. So yeah, these are my 391s for now. Let's get some more. So, all right, folks, that's pretty much going to wrap it up with this guy. Let me just give you a closer look at the back of the dorsal plates there. This is a figure right here where less is more. You know what I mean? Straight up and down, less is just more with this figure. And that's the case with a lot of pieces of vinyl out there. Get the detail right, get the paint job right, and, you know, we could live with some minor mistakes like the eyes, or, you know, not being as articulated. This is a beautiful figure, in my opinion. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I got it for a very reasonable price. I think it was like 35 or 40 bucks at E&J. Make sure you check out E&J, by the way, you know, E&J Boutique. And subscribe to ZillaFan85's channel as well. And if you like this, go out and get you some Gedo Goji, folks. Like the goddamn video, subscribe to my channel, and I still got more, man. I got a bunch of shit all stacked up, ready to go. So I will be back with another soon. Peace.